Welcome to the mental edge.
Record.
You get your notes.
I got my notes up.
good?
I'm going to fire them up. I'm going to turn off my ringer.
Oh yeah, good
Because
call.
I'm
We're going stealth today.
stealthy mode, baby. I'm going to put on my CVS glasses. That's from Amazon. My glasses is from Amazon. Actually. Normally they're from CVS, but Missy got a better deal on Amazon. So, yeah, my notes. Got them up, man. Oh, man. This is the 6th. There's only one more.
Yeah, you know what it is because this is your.
Yeah, there's one more major topic after today. This is the 6th topic of the 7.
Right.
I wish we could have done this by the beginning of the year, but I guess one of the topics wasn't timeliness.
Oh, that's what it was.
It wasn't.
The last one?
No, the last one
It
is
wasn't.
your life is a song, and then we'll use this board here as an example. But anyway,
What's that mean? You're going to use the board as an
the
example?
board is an example because the last topic will be that you're basically the mixing engineer of your entire life.
Oh,
Bling bling.
Hit the record button.
And there's a lot of metaphor rolled into there, right?
yeah.
You're a musician, so you understand, but we're going to make sure that at least that metaphor, which is super important when it comes to balance in your life.
Right.
But today's topic is...
Your birthday.
Yes, my birthday.
I just messing with you.
He's
You
like,
ever
"Yes,
notice we
hombre viejo."
always do one right around your birthday?
Do we?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's been like a thing. So we're continuing this year.
Do we skip your birthday?
I don't know.
I
But
don't know
I just
either.
always remember like it's always either a day or two before or a day or two after.
Okay.
So
That's wild.
yeah, it is wild. I like it. I think it's cool.
Yeah.
You know. And
This is
you're-
my gift.
Yeah, 52.
You always get me a
wait,
gift,
real
but I
quick,
don't want
though.
you to give me a note.
52 and like you always make a riddle or a rhyme.
What was the... I've got one. It's going to take me a minute because you put me
No.
on the spot.
Yeah, you're good. You're
But-
good. My favorite one was the one was like 49 and fine or 48.
Started 40 strong.
Yeah.
Like I did a backflip
Yeah.
when I was 40.
Right.
And it's been going on, and I don't do that no more, bro.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be in a wheelchair. I got the 360 thing is what's got me. I don't want to do like 240.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I always like the beginning of every episode is like a warm up for us.
Yes.
We kind of
This is it. We're riffing.
We joke around. Is that what they call it? Riffing? Yeah, we're riffing. We're, goofing off, trying to warm up. A lot of people don't know, like, when we get in, we don't mess around too much. We say hi. We kind of a little bit catch up.
I hug you and smell you because you
Yeah.
smell amazing all the time.
Yeah.
You always do.
Thanks.
Et
I got some new stuff today.
Toilette. Toilet. How do you say it?
Toilet water.
Toilet is not. Toilet.
It just sounds weird when,
Right.
when you say water from the toilet.
Yeah.
But no. Anyway, yeah, I'm glad that I get this opportunity to spend time with you.
Yeah, it's important
I
to me,
appreciate
too.
that.
Thank you.
Can't stop looking at them guns. You've been wearing T-shirts all winter.
Oh, well.
You've been doing that on purpose.
This was actually a long sleeve shirt until I flexed.
Ah!
Nah.
Nice. No,
It is funny, but yeah, I just came back from the gym. I'm trying to keep it tight because we're going to Hawaii.
Oh, that's
So
awesome, bro.
I'm going to go to Hawaii. I ain't going to look like a slouch, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Wow. You remember that interview that you helped me with? A friend of ours interviewed a guy from Hawaii. Mm-hmm. When you were editing and stuff, did you listen to it a little bit?
I listened to that. That was a very entertaining episode.
Okay.
That was my favorite episode that I've edited.
Yeah.
For him.
So he said, so what do you think about Hawaii? How's the weather like? And I remember one of his responses like, it never changes.
It's the same all
It's
year
the
round?
same all the time.
Yeah,
right.
I'm excited,
So you're
yeah.
going to the Big Island?
We're
or-
actually going to the Big Island.
Okay.
Because it is more, apparently, I don't know, tell me if I'm wrong, guys, when you listen to this, message us. But it is supposedly one of the things where, like, the most, you can do a lot of activities like hiking to waterfalls. And
Okay.
I'm sure it's $1 bazillion, but you only live once and you only die once too. So
Yeah.
Right.
And you can't take it with you.
you can't.
Right.
But I am going to make my kids watch a very special Brady Bunch episode
I remember that one.
where they accidentally take home
The tiki
the
thing.
tiki statue. They're all going to be watching that.
Yeah. We totally dated ourselves.
Yeah.
Right? Which is cool. I mean,
It's cool.
If you know, you know. Who was your favorite Brady?
Marsha.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Even more
because
than
I'm
Cindy?
straight.
Even more than
Okay.
Cindy.
Alice, sometimes I thought her baking that cake. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you just gotta roll
As
with the
you
girl
got
that
older,
can cook.
you're like, Alice is looking kind of good.
Yeah, the mom is hot,
Yeah.
right? This
Wow. It's like, wait, but Marsha was the.
Marsha. Yeah, I would say Marsha.
Okay, good. All right. I think we're warmed up.
We're
yet?
warmed up, man. So let's
All
jump
right.
into this. No
Contingency.
life.
Yeah, contingency.
What are we talking
plan,
about,
contingency
Fernando,
life.
today? No contingency life
yeah.
is topic number 6.
Yeah. Yeah, it means doing what's right, not because you want something done in return. It's
Yeah.
just you're doing something right because you want to do what's right.
Yeah, it's no quid pro quo.
Yeah, no scorekeeping, no waiting for an applause.
Yeah,
Sometimes
so I
people-
like that because I do
Yeah.
think what is a natural inclination? What do men and women for the most part desire more than anything is to be relevant in somebody's life. Be relevant in somebody's life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It drives a lot of our actions, a lot
Yeah.
of our reactions, a lot of our gift giving.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah, and more so than ever, I feel like now we culture operates in this this plan or like a conditional plan.
yeah,
Conditional system.
absolutely.
You know, like everything's conditional. Everything's conditional. And we are going to talk about the opposite of that.
And why it makes sense.
And what? Yeah.
If you want to have this like bulletproof lifestyle that we want to live, you know.
Yeah.
And bulletproof, by the way, I want you to understand something. Do you know that things are bulletproof? They still get scarred up a little bit. There's just no penetration. Right?
Yeah.
So when we talk about being bulletproof, we're not saying that you're going to take hits and walk away unscathed. You're going to survive. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's when I am waiting for someone to do something for me because I did something, I feel like I'm being held hostage. I'm being held hostage.
it's super flawed, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Right?
But why is it so popular right now? Why do you think it's so popular right
Well,
now?
so when we started this conversation, you know, when we started talking about this stuff, I realized that I do this a little bit, but I feel like, Fernando, it's a very natural, we're born with it. Like eventually you want to be nice to people, but no matter what goes on, the bottom line is you're secretly keeping score. You're secretly keeping score.
Yeah.
Sometimes some people are not so secretly keeping score, right?
I feel like that's happening more nowadays.
Yeah,
Like
I
that
think you're
part of it.
right. I think you're right. Like,
Yeah.
what's a phrase you hear? What is a phrase you hear? Like you hear somebody say, and we've touched on this before
I'm
in
not
other
sure
podcasts.
exactly which one you're talking about, but I know that if I ask my son to take out the garbage, he's like, "What's up, bro? How much?
Oh yeah,
How
right.
much you gonna give me to throw
Yeah,
that
Dad,
garbage
like-
out?" I'm
right,
like,
right,
"What?
yeah, we gonna grease that palm?
Yeah, what?
I just
You
shoved
kidding
a
me?
Subway sandwich down
yeah,
your throat.
Yeah, I just paid for lunch for the for the
But here
last
we are, like
16
here,
years
time
of your
out.
life.
Like,
yeah.
but didn't we just engage in it a little bit when we
Help me out
when we
here. Yeah, yeah.
regurgitate that when we say, "Hey, dude, I just paid your car insurance."
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
you get it?
yeah,
like
yeah.
You see what I
Tit
mean?
for tat, yeah.
It's and I mean it's so easy to fall
Wow.
into it, especially in defense mode. But
Yeah.
but we're gonna talk more today about offensive mode.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've heard people say you gotta check your heart on while you're doing things, Fernando. And I
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
just think that this rolls back to another biblical principle. I think 6 of these 7 topics seem to be deeply biblical to me.
Yeah.
But this, like doing things as if you're doing them for the Lord, I feel like it's an extraordinary life hack.
Oh yeah. For sure.
Because it takes the focus off of it being for somebody and reciprocation.
Yeah.
You know, which is like the devil's candy when it comes to keeping score. Like there's nobody upstairs going on. You only did this 72 times. If you would have done it 73, you will walk through the pearly gate, bro. There's no keeping score when you live that life.
Yeah. Another thing I realize is that, you know, as guys, when we're living a life of no contingency, you can build a lot of strength.
Yes.
You know?
It's a mechanism.
Yeah.
It's a lever for strength.
It's a lever for yeah. I think about guys that, you know, in my own life, I never really learned to live alone.
Mm-hmm.
I always, you know, kind of like codependent type thing happening in my life. So I tend to fall back to that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's important if you know, if I had to do it over, or if I'm giving advice to my son, I would want him to, you know, learn how to travel by himself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you know what I'm saying? Does
Yes.
it make sense? It's kind of like you become a stronger person when you're able to take your own flight, land in a place that's unfamiliar, survive without having to call mom or dad.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you know that, and that's what I mean more by like the codependency thing, where you're relying on someone to is always going to be there. And I think like you learn going through the hard stuff. You know, okay, you missed the bus. So my young ones, they missed the bus. Guess you tell me what I make them do.
You walk.
They walk, right?
I might follow you with the car.
Which I do, and I think I've said
with the
that
Pop-Tart.
in one of the
Cinnamon brown sugar.
Yeah. So I
What a mean dad.
But they really don't miss the bus anymore.
Yeah.
You know, or if they do, they know what the consequence is, right?
Yeah.
And so yeah, and I follow, like I think I said that in one of the stories that we talked about before, where I follow along. So, but yeah, it's like learning the hard stuff, but becoming stronger while that stuff is happening.
I do feel like it's a lever for strength, and I do feel like, you know, the nice thing about it is, I think if you're always living your life, and you're thinking that there's going to be this reciprocation of what you do. Guys, have you met yourself and have you met your fellow brothers and sisters? We let each other down all the time.
Yeah.
It's like, how many times do we have to learn this lesson that we're just human beings? And then if I'm waiting for Junior to do something for me to go to the next level in my life, then my future is dependent upon Junior.
Yeah.
That's, you know, when you start thinking about it, that's really a weakness. That's really a weakness.
Yeah, it is. I have a little metaphor that I came up with while I was thinking about what you sent over, and I call it the blacksmith metaphor. Okay?
Yeah.
So imagine you're a blacksmith.
Why is blacksmith? Why is it got to be blacksmith?
I don't know.
Anyway, let's go. Let's roll.
Forging a sword. Okay. If he only hammers when people are watching, the blade will stay weak and unfinished. Right. So the master craftsman, he has to smash that, you know, sword, pound away in solitude.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to be around. He's stoking the fire, stoking the flame, getting that thing nice and hot, knowing that the strength is built in the process, not the applause. That the strength is built in the process, not the applause.
Listen to what I said.
So, you know, or the praise.
Yes.
And a lot of times we tend to wait for the applause or the praise to do something. And that's not really what it's all about.
Yeah.
That process, when he's doing that, you know, that's the no contingency mindset. He works, he builds, he serves, and he grows whether or not anyone acknowledges him. And that's the most important part. And that's what I mean by, you know, I want my children to do things on their own with no one around.
Yes.
And in teaching them that, but this, I'm applying it to myself first.
Yeah.
I'm talking
and
preaching
despite
to
the
myself
environment,
first.
Fernando.
Yeah. Oh, that's yeah.
Despite the season you're in. You know, so
I like that.
Let's talk. Let's first of all, contingency is like a $10 word. All right, we see contingencies in real estate a lot, right? Like, hey, I'm going to buy Fernando's home. Contingent upon my home being sold.
Yeah.
And right now, if you follow that market, that's not, people are not happy with those. They're basically saying no contingencies allowed, right? Okay.
Which that was a thing a couple years ago, though.
It was a thing a couple years ago, but I think
changed,
people
right?
are in love with that former,
Okay.
you know, like that former instantaneous, hey, I get whatever I want as a seller, but it's not going on. But regardless, this is where This is where people see the word contingency a lot, because it's, hey, I'm going to do this thing for you so long as this thing happens for me. Right? And this is exactly what we're talking about today as we're going back and forth like that. But what that does, what that eradicates for you is the power of your own personal journey under your own power despite your situation.
Okay.
Right? Like there's a thing that I like to say to my wife, and she's actually stronger in so many ways than I am in a lot of things. But there's this thing that she says, she's like, you're going to go for a run. It's raining. And then I don't know what it was. At one point I told her, I said, babe, like the weather's not in charge of me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm not tooting my own horn here. Believe me, guys, because I'd like to lay in bed till 9 a.m. and sip coffee every day.
Yeah.
That's how I would choose to live if I could, right?
Got it.
I would do that in a heartbeat. But what I'm trying to say is it's something that I've kind of began to, I don't like the word manifest, but like come out of me as a, hey, no matter what's going on, if I tell myself I'm going to do something, I'm not going to worry about whether or not Daddy's going to pat me on the back.
Yeah.
Cousin Heather's gonna text me, hey, I really appreciate that you, and she don't need my help, but I'm just using her as an example.
Right.
I really appreciate that $50 to help me pay my rent.
Right.
Think about that. Like, let's talk about money a little bit. Fernando, have you ever given something to somebody, and then like, I don't think guys do this a lot. I'm proud of you fellas.
Yeah.
I do know that, like, I listen to my wife talk, and I love her community a lot. But I do feel like women have an ability. I think you keep track better than we do anyway.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So money is one of those things like, dude, can I borrow a couple $100? And then the first thing out of my mouth is, if you're like, it's a really bad time, like, what about that $1,000 I loaned you 6 months ago?
Right.
You know, that you paid back, by the way, whether you did or not. It's like, did I do that so that I could ask Fernando, bro, why don't you got my back?
Yeah.
Is that who I am?
Right.
I mean, Jesus, think about how limiting that is in life. Like,
yeah. What I heard earlier on was that you said you go for the run even if it's raining. I feel like that's for us and for every guy listening, that's a version of you making yourself bulletproof.
It is, Fernando.
Right. It kind of reminds me of what you did at the gym on your birthday, where you lifted.
Oh yeah, I did. I wanted to do 315 again.
Yeah.
I hadn't done it in about a year.
Yeah, and it was nothing for you, right? But I meant
my balls said something different.
Yeah. I apologize if I sounded like what I meant to say was, it's part of what was making you bulletproof. So you did it and you accomplished it on that day. That's what I was.
Yeah, I got
trying to get at. Yeah.
I,
so yeah, there in lies these small little things that you're doing to calibrate and
this
allow
is all
yourself,
about calibration.
Yeah, and allow yourself to become a better version of yourself. Like I said, bulletproof. As far as the money, or borrowing money or lending money, and then like, hey man, you're gonna. What I heard there was, and I'm afraid that I've done this is. Let's say I work really hard for an event to happen, okay? And I put in blood, sweat, and tears, things people don't see. And then sometimes, though, at the end, you hope that when the people arrive to this event, they acknowledge what you've done.
And you're like, we know that shouldn't be the reason why we did it, but let's be honest, Fernando. This is the greatest example right here.
Yeah.
It's so human.
Yeah. It is.
You cannot help.
It is. Yeah.
But hope that thing, like that little, hey, dude,
Yeah.
this is
when
this
they come
potato
in-
salad's amazing.
Yeah.
That's why I made it. No.
Yeah.
This party's the best party I've ever been to.
This event
Oh,
is.
yeah.
Oh,
And how would you? And how do you
Just-
act when you get that compliment? Right. It's such a dude thing, right?
Yeah.
We want it so bad.
Yeah. You want to say, you want to feel appreciated, and that even happens with our spouse.
And this is where it's starting to get so good, Fernando. Like, who doesn't? Like, well, I didn't wash the dishes because I did the laundry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
the concept of like that you're stuck, that you're doing this for your wife, or that she's doing it for her husband instead of serving the marriage.
Yeah.
right? Which is where this is us. Like the marriage is us.
Yeah.
And the keeping score, and you know what? Like that's it. I'm not picking up the house again.
Yeah.
Because you leave that freaking towel there all the time.
Wrong way to look
I
at
know
it, right?
we get it. You are right,
Yes.
babe. You're right. You're right. But you would, by the way, be miserable if you didn't pick up that towel. And I should respond with, "Oh my God, I got to do better." But
yeah. There's that old saying that we you brought up in early on in these like first original, first 10 podcasts, where if you told your spouse, "Hey, babe, I'll wash the dishes, but first let me go jump this ramp with my bike."
Get your
And then you go jump the ramp, you fall, break your arm. Before you go to the hospital,
I'm washing them dishes, bro.
make sure you wash the dishes. Yeah, because the opposite, doesn't build the things that we're looking for. So, like, let's say you're looking to build competence, right? The work itself makes you stronger, not the reward.
That's right.
Right? So you going to the gym, even though you could have took birthday day off,
Yeah.
right? Instead, where do you find Jay on his birthday? Jay's at the gym.
Trying to do something.
Trying to do something, right? Yeah, because that's what's happening. You're becoming stronger, and it's not the reward. It's because of the action and what you're, putting into play.
Yeah, we're getting into some really good stuff because here's the problem. Okay, first of all, a couple things I'm going to spit out before I forget them,
go ahead.
Fernando. One is, who hasn't said, "I want to start that business when I get that money"? Who hasn't done that? Like,
Speaking of somebody, right?
I want to
now.
do this thing when I'm ready. That's a contingency, guys.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. We do that to God sometimes, right?
We do it to God. I'm gonna get on that worship team, right?
Yeah. I'm gonna give my
As
life
soon
to
as
the
little
Lord.
Johnny's done with baseball.
I'm gonna give my life to the Lord.
Yeah.
As soon as I'm done,
Sowing my seed.
Yeah, so running the streets,
Plowing in fields.
Yeah.
Oh boy, we just got excommunicated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, right? Yeah, you said, Fernando, like I'm gonna do this great thing.
Yeah.
When this thing happens, or when I'm done with it.
Yeah.
It's contingency.
Yeah, it's contingency.
Right? Yeah.
And we have to watch out for that, because if you want to be free, right, then you don't want anyone else to dictate how you drive.
Yeah.
You don't want anyone else to dictate like what you have going on in your life. You need to dictate those things yourself, because who sets the purpose? You do.
You set
I
the
do,
purpose, yeah.
right? We do.
Yeah.
As individuals, we set that. So,
Yeah. One of my biggest fears, Fernando, is that if you don't adopt this no contingency mindset on how you're going to live, regardless of the season, regardless of the accolade, if that is not something that you adopt, what will end up taking place inside of you is something that I think is so disgustingly ugly, which is self-righteousness. Because as you're doing all this math, it's a cousin of comparison mode.
Yeah.
I'm not looking at Fernando's assets. Although he's got some nice assets. Man, how's some looking in Jordache he wearing?
All right.
Yeah.
But yeah,
man,
there's another. You mentioned something in your notes, and I want you to get to that. I think it was a scripture, but the way I took the scripture was, we chase the spotlight.
We do.
Right?
We do.
It had to do with light.
It did, because exactly. So, Fernando, I love you.
I just
man.
wanted, because that's
I
one
love
of the
you, 'cause
first
my
things
phone keeps going dark on me. But okay, so
it was like a scripture in Matthew.
this is what I've learned, and I don't even know the scripture, but I know we got a lot
do.
of amazing.
You do.
I don't know it though.
Oh, it was like
I don't know the actual scripture, like the destination.
Yeah,
but I know it.
A light in a city.
Yeah, like because when it's time for you to shine, you're gonna shine like the lights of a city on a hilltop.
Yeah,
right.
That's it. You got it.
And what I've learned over time is, guys, is first of all, one of the principles we talked about a lot last year, Fernando, before we started the calibration, was fasting, which is self-denial, right? because it's basically the turning away from yourself for a while.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, what I've learned, especially in the work that I'm so blessed to do being a union safety guy, is sometimes I'll feel like I can't get anything done.
Yeah.
Or the squeakiest wheel is a guy I've let down who deserved not to be let down. Right? But all of the other things I've been able to accomplish in my heart and in my mind, I'm like, man. And then right when I'm at my lowest point, somebody that I deeply respect will reach out and say, dude, what you did for me the other day was amazing and I appreciate it. And it's the type of accolade that I could never create.
Yeah.
Where I'm craving this every day, just give me a little bit, give me a taste, give me a taste, give me a taste. Instead, I get this meal.
Yeah. I like
That
that.
sustains me. It's always better, guys, when you don't generate it, right? When Fernando comes to me without me kind of going, hey, how'd you like that cake I baked? Like that is the least attractive thing.
Yeah.
How'd you like it? It was great, man.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. But when I'm just
It just seems
sweeping
empty,
up,
right? It seems empty.
it seems, it's like
Yeah.
I fished for it.
Yeah.
Because I'm keeping score and I'm addicted to people like Fernando coming to
Yeah.
me who are going to come to me when I really need it. But I'm addicted to all the little tastes, like all the little crumbs, right? Instead of being so thankful when I get the deliverance and the blessing that came from Fernando when I'm sweeping up my business and he came and he drove 7 miles to go, dude, what you did for me yesterday, it made my day.
Yeah.
We get those text messages.
Yeah.
Right, Fernando?
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't get a lot of text messages
No,
from people.
no.
But bro, are they right
Yeah.
on time?
Yeah, I remember when we were on the verge of like, okay, this is gonna be our last episode.
Yeah.
You know, we don't know if this is going anywhere, and boom, we get a text message that says, "Man, that last episode really touched my heart."
No matter what contingency you and I
Yeah,
put out,
yeah.
like it doesn't matter because that eclipsed our own personal contingencies.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I also just wanted to say that I was at the gym yesterday and I ran across. So I didn't actually run across them. I was working on tries and two young men walked past and one of them looks down and he's like, "Bro, I love your boosts. They're multicolored, shoes or whatever."
Yeah.
And I kind of like stopped. I look. I was like, "Oh, thanks, man. I got them at Foot Locker during the week." He was like, "During the week? Yeah, you get better deals during the week." I don't know, for whatever reason they put them on sale during the
I
week.
didn't know
right?
that.
Yeah. I didn't either until I tried it like 3 or 4
Come
times.
Friday, though.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah. They go back up, right? So
That's funny.
So that was the initial conversation, but what ensued right after was I had the opportunity to meet Jake and Jacob. And what was funny, I'm like, "Oh, Jake and Jake. I mean, you guys have the same name, Jake and Jacob." And he goes, "Yeah, we differentiate by I'm Jake and he's Jacob."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, great." These guys really blessed my heart because, they're 21 years old. I felt like I was talking to my son.
Yeah.
They were very,
that's awesome for us, isn't it?
Yeah, they were very,
Yeah.
and I tell them that. I said, "Man, this is a real blessing for me." And at the end, he was like, "Yeah, maybe we could have some coffee or something." That was even better. He took my number. I'm like, "Oh, this is
so cool,
This
man.
is so cool, right?"
I'm still
But
important.
What
Yeah, right.
what I love is not once did I feel like it was about him.
Wow.
You know?
Learning a lesson from a young man.
Yeah, not one time he was giving me kudos for being at the gym, for having my own business for 24 years, for like he was just during this conversation, I'm like, "Man, this guy's like literally, upping me, and my spirits are lifted because of him." And it was nice, I thought to myself, "Wow, how cool is that?" So I end up, like I said, I don't feel like there wasn't one part of me that felt like,
Because it was genuine, right,
it was
Fernando?
genuine, yeah. So then, of course, I send a text back after we're done working out, and I let him know how nice it was to meet him, and I would definitely, I can't wait to sit with him and see what he's about, and who
Was that Jacob or
coached
Jake?
him. Jake. Now Jacob was equally as nice. He was, he was just not as talkative, but when he did talk, he he was very interesting as well. I think I was more on the art side with Jake.
Yeah.
So we kind of connected there. But it's those types of things where, we want to behave like Jake. We want to be able to offer, nice words to people, and not expect something in return. He wasn't expecting me to say, oh, I really like your shorts or your shirt or whatever. That would be weird, as well as he wasn't expecting that or wanting that. But it was really nice to be on the other end of that, and seeing that someone was saying those nice things without expecting something in return.
Yeah, he didn't. He didn't expect for you to shoot a text to him either. It was never. It was never the motivating factor. Like, Fernando, this thing where if you say hi to people, I love you guys. They're not required to say hi back.
No. Or have a conversation with them.
Or have a conversation with you.
Yeah.
Or if you say something nice to somebody, the transaction of life can end right there.
Yeah.
Right? Because you saying hi wasn't contingent on being said hi back to.
Yeah. Like if I was waiting for a compliment or for him to say something about me working out, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm just not going to work out no more because he didn't mention my triceps.
Yeah, and by the way, I don't want to go any farther. If you guys haven't seen Fernando's triceps, go back and look at some photos, like our original photo.
Oh yeah, I gotta get back there.
Like, it almost looks like somebody photoshopped that mug in there. Like, what the heck?
Its own blood supply, guys.
It's funny you said that to me, though. Another thing that popped in my head was I've heard a lot of people talk about church hurt.
Okay.
Now watch. Now a bunch of people just leaned in.
Yeah.
Right. They put their phones down.
I just did too.
They just leaned in. Right.
Here? Yeah.
And I've seen this. I've listened to this. And it's something that I think in the church, I think it's a very natural way to feel, because you'll see people ascend to positions and you'll hear like this talk like, man, I've been a faithful tither at this church for 25 years. They never asked me to share nothing at the men's breakfast.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel for you. I really do. But I want you to know something. I think that thing that you just said is probably the reason why.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right? You don't realize it yet. Like there's something there still. There's this, hey, like, hasn't my service ever counted for me? No, it counted for Jesus. Right?
Yeah.
The guy that doesn't keep score, because if he did, we would have lost.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So I do think that this contingency thing, we just have to be so hyper aware, Fernando, because I think what you're doing is, if you don't embrace the no contingency life, you're really you're leaving something on the table. It's so great that you're doing nice things for people.
Yeah.
It's so great. But if you're only doing them, even with the backdoor mentality that something is going to be done for you in return, you're setting yourself up for deep disappointment.
Yeah. I wrote here in closing, I put, a life of contingencies keeps you stuck. Your efforts, your kindness, and growth are always waiting on someone else's actions. A life of no contingency means you move forward regardless of recognition, fairness, or reciprocation.
Man, it's gorgeous.
Yeah. I appreciate you sending that over to me, because I actually that's been something I've been working on.
Me too, buddy.
Yeah.
Me too.
So it worked out. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this.
Yep. And
kind of like our whole thing with expectations, right?
Yes, exactly. Because we do have expectations. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Healthy ones.
I think my closing remark is like the no contingency life. Like, so I try to put a little mantra in my head.
Yeah.
And the one that I kept hearing was, because what I'm going to do don't depend on you.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So that's like just a little thing that I'm going to say to myself. And I would drop my phone, but it's a work phone. I don't want to pay for it. So hold on. Caught that mug on my feet. But anyway.
40 or 50.
Yeah.
1 inch strong?
52.
52. You're that much? No, there's no
I'm
way.
52, bro.
52 and still strong. Look at that, Jack.
I wish I had your triceps, though.
Yeah, right, whatever. Dude.
I don't, man. But anyway, this is a great conversation. The next conversation, which will be the end of the 7-part series, that took 4 months longer than it was supposed to because of life. I guess there was contingencies there, but will be about how your life is like a song. And really, it's really like a concert, but it's going to make a lot of sense, and it's going to kind of tie all this stuff in together. But we really appreciate you hanging out with us. And my name is Jay Casey.
Fernando Lopez Jr.
This has been the Mental Edge Podcast.
And we out.
Sincerely hope you enjoyed this episode of the Mental Edge Podcast. Please remember to like, subscribe, follow, and share. Until next week, we out.